Okay, Jeremiah chapter 52, the reign of Zedekiah. Being the 20th and 1 year of Zedekiah in his taking reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and the name of his mother was Hamutal, daughter of Jeremiah from out of Libnah. And he did the wicked thing before the Lord, according to all as much as Jehoiakim did. For the wrath of the Lord was in Jerusalem and in Judah, until of which the throwing them off from his face. And Zedekiah separated against the king of Babylon. The fall of Jerusalem. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his kingdom, in the 10th month, on the 10th of the month, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his force against Jerusalem. And they encamped by it, and they built against it a rampart round about. And the city came into conflict until the 11th year to King Zedekiah. In the 4th month, the 9th of the month, even the famine was solidified in the city, and there were not breads to the people of the land. And the city was cut through, and all the men, warriors, fled and went forth by night according to the way of the gate in the middle of the wall. And the area around the wall, which was next to the garden of the king, and the Chaldeans were upon the city round about, and went by the way into the wilderness. And the force of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, and overtook him on the other side of Jericho. And all his servants were dispersed away from him. And they seized the king, and led him to the king of Babylon in Riblah, in the land of Hamath, and spoke against him with judgment. And the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah in front of his eyes. And all the rulers of Judah he slew in Riblah. And the eyes of Zedekiah were blinded, and he bound him in shackles. And the king of Babylon led into Babylon, and put him into the mill house until the day of which he died. The destruction of the Lord's house. And in the 5th month, the 10th of the month, came Nebuzaradan, the chief guard, the one standing in front of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of the Lord, and the house of the king, and all the houses of the city, even all the great houses he burnt with fire, and every wall of Jerusalem round about was demolished by the force of the Chaldeans with the chief guard. And from the needy of the people, and the rest of the people, and the ones being left behind in the city, and the ones falling in who fell to the king of Babylon, and the extra of the multitude, the chief guard moved, and the chief guard left behind some from the poor of the land, for vine dressers and for farmers, and the columns of brass in the house of the Lord, and the bases and the brass sea in the house of the Lord. The Chaldeans broke, and they took of their brass unto Babylon. And the rim and the bowls and the meat hooks, and all the items of brass in which they officiated by them, even the silver things, and the snuffers, and the oil flasks, and the lampstands, and the incense pans, and the cups, which was gold by gold, and which was silver by silver. The chief guard took even the 2 columns, and the 1 sea, and the 12 calves of brass underneath the sea, which King Solomon made for the house of the Lord. The weight of their brass was not known, and the columns 18 cubits was the height of the 1 column, and a string measure of 12 cubits surrounded it, and its thickness was of 4 fingers round about, and the molding upon them was of brass, and the length was 5 cubits, superior of the molding of the one. and a latticed work, and pomegranates were upon the molding round about, all of brass. According to these things was the second column, and pomegranates. And there were the pomegranates 96 to the one part, and there were in all the pomegranates upon the lattice work round about 100. Exile to Babylon. And the chief guard took Zariah, the foremost priest, and Zephaniah, the priest, being second, and the three of the ones guarding the way. And from out of the city he took one eunuch, who was supervisor of the men of the warriors, and 7 famous men of the ones in front of the king being found in the city, and the scribe of the forces acting as scribe to the people of the land, and 60 men from out of the people of the land being found in the midst of the city. And Nebuzaradan, the chief guard, took them and led them to the king of Babylon in Riblah. And the king of Babylon struck them in Riblah, in the land of Hamath, and Judah was transferred from its land. This is the people whom Nebuchadnezzar transferred in the 7th year of Jews. That's Israelites. 3,023. 3,023. In the 8th and 10th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he transferred from Jerusalem 832 souls. In the 3rd and 20th year of Nebuchadnezzar, the chief guard transferred of Judahites 745 souls. All the souls, 4,600. And it came to pass in the 30th and 7th year of the resettling of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 5th and 20th day of the month, evil Merodach, king of Babylon, took in the year in which he took reign the head of Joachim, king Judah, and led him from out of the house of which he was guarded. And he spoke to him graciously, and he put his throne above the thrones of the kings with him in Babylon. And he changed his prison apparel, and he ate bread always in front of him all the days which he lived. And the rate always given to him by the king of Babylon continued from day to day until the day of which he died. That is Jeremiah chapter 52. Next we'll be doing some Lamentations because it's a short book.